What's going on, guys? Your everyday math tutor here, and in today's video we have a ratios problem, equivalent ratios problem. So the value, or what value of x will make these two expressions equivalent? So the key word that we are looking for here is equivalent. Sorry, a lot of things not working here. Equivalent. So that means that these two expressions must be equivalent. So we're gonna have to show them as equal to each other. So this is what we have. Negative 3 over 7 is equal to x over 21. But we need to find what that x value is. Now, there are two ways that I like to do it. I can multiply by 21, which is what we can do first. Or we can cross multiply. But let's go ahead and multiply by 21 first. So let's go ahead and multiply by 21. What I do to one side, I must always do to the other side. Now, what's going on over here, though? A lot of people are like, how do they just cancel out? Right? Well, what we can do is rewrite the 21 on the right over here as a ratio, so 21 over 1, and then we can see that there's a 21 also in the denominator. So when we write it as a, not 2, but over 1, when we write it as a ratio, we can see then that the 21 is in the numerator. So when the two numbers are the same, 1 in the numerator and 1 in the denominator, well, that's just going to equal to 1. So these two cancel out, and we're just left with 1x, because 21 divided by 21 is just 1. So these two are gone. Now, on the left side, we could do 21 over 1 and write it as a ratio, or we can see that the 21 is divisible by 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So we're left with 3 times negative 3. And 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So the x value that will make these two expressions equivalent is negative 9. Now let's go ahead and see what it will look like if we were to cross multiply them. So we would have negative 3 over 7 is equal to x over 21. Now which method you choose is totally up to you. You'll still get the same answer. It's just a matter of preference. So let's go ahead and cross multiply. The first numbers we can multiply are negative 3 and 21. Negative 3 times 21 is negative 63. So we can go ahead and write negative 63. Sorry, got to color code it here. And then the next thing we'll do is multiply the 7 and the x. And that is just going to be equal to 7x. Now I ask myself, what's my next step? Well, these two are being multiplied, the 7 and the x. So we must do the inverse operation, which is to divide. So we're just doing the opposite of what's going on with the coefficient and the variable. So because they are multiplying, we must divide by the coefficient, which is 7. And what we do to one side, we must also do to the other. So we have negative 63 divided by 7. And 7 divided by 7 on the right side, or 7x divided by 7. But again, as I stated before with the 21s, if we are dividing by the same number, 1 in the numerator and 1 in the denominator, well, that's just going to equal to 1. So we can cross these out, and we're left with 1x. And all we have to do now is divide the 63 by 7, and we're going to get negative 9, or rather negative 63 divided by 7, we get negative 9. So again, the method is all due to preference. You could use any two of the methods and you'll still get the right answer. Now let's take a look at a second example. We have solve for x if 72 divided by 108 or 72 over 108 and x over 54 are equivalent. So again, we must write them equal to each other. So we can multiply by 54 using the first method to both sides. Now we can see that 54 divided by 108, well, 54 is just half of 108, so we can just write 72 divided by 2 is equal to x, because now 54 and 54 cancel out. Again, 54 divided by 54 is 1, so we're left with 1x. And 72 divided by 2 is equal to 36. Now, if we were to use the cross multiplication, we can go over on this right side over here and see what that would look like. So we have 72 over 108 is equal to x over 54. And we will do 72 times 54 first. So we're doing this first. And that will equal to 3,888. Okay, and then we would multiply the 108 and the x, and that is just simply 108x. And again, what's going on between these two is multiplication, so we must divide by the coefficient there, which is 108. So what I do to one side, I must also do to the other. So 3,888 divided by 108 is just going to equal 36. And 108 divided by 108, just the coefficient here, and then divided by 108, same number being divided by each other, is just 1. So we're left with 1x. So as you can see, you still get the same answer no matter which method you use. Again, totally up to you guys to decide which one you want. It's just preference, but this is how you would do these two problems. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want more, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one.